Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Legacy, I think it's Legacy, right? I don't know. Their drag strip from Hasbro, and here he is in his drag strip mode. Outside of the visible head syndrome, which, I will give him credit. It's like, where else are you going to put the head? But also, they left it hollow, so it kind of makes it look like a seat. So, at least they try. At least they're trying here. Rolls just fine. Here he is next to Prowl from the, whatever it was called. I can't remember, Siege line. So, you see how he's big there, or how he stacks up to that. Now, when he goes into the arm mode, apparently, from what I understand, is it locks into place, and there's these pieces that'll lock into it, and when it does that, it pushes this little button in here, and that releases the arm, so that you can have this piece on the top and this piece at the bottom. So it's pretty clever. And it's also nice that it's not one of those, oh, that's just going to fall apart kind of gimmicks. Like, you can pull that all you want, but it's not coming out, which is nice. They actually put some time and effort into it, and kudos on them. And then he does come with the two guns. You can plug them together if you wish. But once you have them together, there's not really much you can do with them. They are just the same sculpt, black plastic with some purple paint on there. Looks good. You just plug them in the side of the car, any 5mm ports. Now, one thing I will say, this was something I didn't like about it from when I first saw it, and still don't. I hate these kind of clips. I hate these clips like with a passion. They make the toy feel cheap. So essentially what these clips are is you got the circle for where the tire goes, and then these two clips come out they're more like this. And so when you put the circle onto the clip, it bends the plastic, clips on, and then holds. The problem with that is that you bend the plastic at the tires in. So all 6 of these pegs probably have some pretty wicked stress marks on them. And once these things start giving, you're done. You are done. This thing is going to fall apart on you. I just hate those that system. It doesn't look good. It doesn't function well. It's just poor design. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get them transformed, shall we? So first, let's pull the back pieces down. Like that. And then you can just split the legs. Just like that. Rotate the waist around, and there's the bottom part done. Overall, not too bad. It's the top half that looks awful. Spoiler alert. So flip this up, flip the head out, rotate this around, and flip these out. And then you split this section and it'll come down. These kind of go into the back. And then accordion this in. All of this will tab together. These sit on the back, and then this will rotate up. And there he is in his robot mode. And I hate it. I won't lie to you guys. I do not like this thing. Ugh. But now I'm going to tell you why. It's not just I don't like this thing. So, first and foremost, these things up here. they're awful looking. They look bad, and there's nowhere to put them that's out of the way. They don't fold up anywhere. They just sit there. I mean, what do you do with that? I just don't get it. You know, they look awful. And if you have them out just the slightest bit, it's gonna catch up on your arms and make them not work very well. Oh man, I gotta look up a photo of him to make sure I did it right. Let's see here. Legacy track strip. Yep. All the photos have that. It's just so bad looking. And then he's got these things. And that's kind of how the character looks, but the way they design it and the fact that they don't really tab in anywhere is just a bad design. I don't like this thing at all. You know, this is to the point where if I was collecting this for the robot modes, I'd be out. This would be it. I'd be done. And I'd just be like, nope, not doing it. Let's go over posability. So his head is on a swivel. So you get the left and right. Arms are on universals. Just got to be mindful of keeping these giant things out of the way and these giant things out of the way. They do rotate out. Bicep swivel, bends at the elbow. Waist swivel, universals for hips. So up to there, back to there, out to the side. Pretty good range of motion there. Thigh swivel, bends at the knee. And then his little back wing thing, great rocker, and a good tilt. And then, of course, he does hold his weapons. Yeah. So there you go. And for comparison, here he is with the Megatron. And here he is with the Seeker mold. And then, again, you know, we're not really comparing it to the Fans Toys, but here he is with the Fans Toys. And it's like, much like the Kickback, I just want to point out, you know, just a couple things, and just the fact that, like, he's more closer to the animation. And then so that's what I'm using this here as. It's like, this is more like what the animation would look like. And then you look at this, and it's so far off. Let me see. Let's see here. G1 drag strip. Yeah, so there's the animation, and it's like, I know these guys aren't really going for 100% animation model, but then you look at Kickback here, and it's like, well, they kind of are. So yeah, I mean, obviously he's not as good as the Fans Toys one, but my point was just the look of the figure, and it's just like they didn't know what to do with half the figure, and it just looks awful. And that's kind of the same as, I think it's Dead End or Wild Rider, where he's got like half a car hanging off his back, and it's not even like cleaned up backpack, it's just like flung off to the side. You know, it's just like, I I don't think they put any real thought or effort into this figure itself. Outside of what they're going for with the combined mode. So I'm holding my breath that the combined mode's going to be awesome, but to rate this figure on its own, I have to say probably 4 out of 10. On the plus side, he's not just a repaint of Mirage, which is what we've been getting. So that's good, I guess. That's all I got, really. I mean, the guns look nice. The legs function fairly well. At least they put the effort in with the back of the head, like I said. And, and things like, putting the mushroom peg on the back of the leg is a good thing. As opposed to, like, on the side or the front, But it feels like they've really just kind of tossed out Dragstrip in hopes that Minosaur is going to be a better figure. I don't know, guys. He fails where the kickback succeeds. So, I'm not just sitting here just trying to bash on the Chug stuff. Like I said, I want to see the Chug stuff win. I don't see this as a good representation of Dragstrip on his own. And given what we've seen from Hasbro lately with some of the Legacy, the Kingdom, and the 86 stuff, I know they can do better. They chose not to on this figure. That's the thing. They chose not to do better on this. So, I don't know. I think they could have ironed out a few other details and maybe made him a Voyager class, and made him a really, really great figure. It's like, that'd be a good investment for him too, just because of the fact that it's like, if they really would have nailed it, at a little bit of a higher price point, chances are good people would buy 2. You want that one for robot mode on your shelf, and then you want one for combined mode on your shelf. So it would be a good investment on them to make this thing as good as they can. But as it is, I wouldn't buy 2. If I was a Chug collector and that was the way I was going, I would not be buying 2. I'd be looking at, well, maybe I'll get the go back and pick up the Fans Project one, or that's pretty much it. Or maybe I would get the X-Transbot one, although that thing falls apart. Dragstrip's just plagued with poor designs. So yeah, I can't recommend this one fully on his own. I can't. But if you're in for the line to see where we go, you might want to pick it up while you can and not have to pay the aftermarket pricing on it. So yeah, that's what I got. Next we'll take a look at an action figure.